Welcome to the channel, everybody. Level M Diecast, bringing you a little bit of a showcase, a little bit of a show and tell, I guess you can say. We're going to be talking about Siku, so we'll see how many people this appeal to on the channel. This will be kind of a core target audience. Siku is not sold in the U.S. I'm pretty sure you guys are aware. Used to be sold, I believe you could get it probably into the early 2000s. At like your higher end toy stores, the toy stores that sell like developmental toys, things like that. Just a little bit more involved, very, very expensive toys, I should say as well. These were also available a little bit at like discount stores. So you'd have like Tuesday Morning and stuff like that, TJ Maxx, those type of stores and stuff like that. So I do have a bit of a collection of these. They make several scales. So they do 187 scale, which is HO scale. They do 1/55th scale is what they used to do. They now do 1/50th scale, which is the industry standard. But they also do 1/32nd scale, which is for farm equipment. Not really sure why they do that particular scale, but they do it. So we'll just go through what I have to start with because I got good news at the end. So this is the stuff from my collection that I currently have, the stuff that I have amassed over the years from other people, from stores, stuff like that. I do have a couple of these Liebherr, front end loaders. This is the 580. So these, 1/8 scale, rubber tires, everything works, does exactly what you think it does. Unfortunately, these ones are, this one is taped up, but this one is not taped up. Most of the ones that I have are taped up, so I probably won't be able to show you too much of it. But I will go ahead and show you this one since this one is open. So we'll pull this guy out. Now these are super high quality. They're all metal. Most of it is metal. There's not that much plastic on it. These bars and stuff are plastic. This part's plastic, but all the rest of this is metal. The engine cover doesn't open or anything like that, but it does turn. Does exactly what you expect as far as that's concerned. Rubber tires, like I mentioned, and then of course the front end does everything that it should do. The whole front end loader section is metal. Even the bucket is metal. So, these are high end. They're toys. I mean, you could play with them, but in my opinion, I feel like these are more geared towards collectors rather than just kids' toys. Now this particular one still has a price tag on it, which I think is important. So this was purchased at Kazoo & Company, which was a high-end toy store. I don't believe Kazoo & Company exists anymore. But look at that. This thing was $16 when it was new. So that's pretty expensive for just a single model like that. Definitely not cheap at 16 bucks a piece. This one is sealed, but I also have this one here. This is the mobile excavator. Of course, this is a Volvo. I do not believe Siku does anything generic in this particular line. So everything should be, licensed and stuff like that. This one is pretty cool. Just a four-wheel excavator. Does have working outriggers in the back as well. This one's open too. Well, I guess I'm learning something new too. I thought all of these were taped shut, but if they're not taped shut, I'm definitely going to show them to you guys. This one is in kind of a two-piece clam, which I like. Makes it a lot easier to get the model out, theoretically. There we go. Struggle's real. Oh, man. Thing is in there. All right, there is our four-wheel loader. Of course, it has dual four wheels on there. Looks pretty good. Like I said, your outriggers come down, so they do work, which is very, very cool. Of course, this thing does, full 360 rotation, exactly what it should do. The blade does move a little bit, so the blade's more of a stabilizer for the front with the two outriggers in the back, which is kind of cool. Pretty good detail on the top, fully functioning. Moves, does all that good stuff like that. It's pretty impressive for a 187 scale. Super, super stiff just because it's new. So all the joints are extremely stiff. So that one looks pretty good. See if we can get this guy back into the box. Very, very peculiar. Let's see Popping it in the back. There we go. There we go. It's ridiculous how tight that thing fits in there. It's just crazy. I honestly thought that all of these were sealed, and I was like, man, how am I going to show these off to everybody? Show how unbelievably cool they are when I can't open them up. All right, this one I know for a fact is sealed because I've been looking at this one for a little bit. So this is a Scania cement truck. That is a licensed model. See the wheels and stuff on this one look fantastic. Of course, your drum is going to roll, and then the chute in the back is usable. I think you can even take the little small chute off here and extend it out. Super, super cool detail. So there is the deets in the back. It actually has a couple of extra pieces that you can put on there, which is super cool. And then, of course, the cement mixer dumps. Not really sure the point of that. Maybe that's something different. It looks pretty good. Even the mixing section here is licensed. You can see right there it is a Liebherr system. So that's pretty cool. Of course, 187 scale as well. Let's see here. Oh, this one's pretty cool. This one's a pretty big one. This is the road grader. Of course, Volvo G990. This one looks fantastic. I really like this one. Has the lights and stuff on the front. Looks awesome. You can tilt and do all that stuff to the spreader, stuff that you can't do with the Matchbox real working rig. But that one's super cool. I like that one. It's got the moving parts in the back as well. Really, really neat. I don't think this one has a price on it. So that one was 20 bucks. It was 50% off. But 10 bucks for that, it's totally a good deal. Totally a good deal for that. 10 bucks, totally. We gotta make some room here. We're gonna have quite a few. A couple of service vehicles as well. This is a snowplow. Again, a Scania cab, licensed. That is a metal blade on the front. And then, of course, the salt spreader in the back. This box is significantly bigger just because it's a, bigger item. The blade is extremely wide on it. There is the deets on the back. Doesn't do a whole lot. You can take the top off of the spreader, move it up and down. Pretty sure the spreader may come out of the back as well, but super cool though. Definitely like that one. Let's see if we can get this to fit on the screen. This one I've debated opening a bunch of times just because I want to see how it works. This is a rear-loading garbage truck. Again, another Scania cab. There's going to be probably only Scania cabs, probably. But this one comes with the dumpster in the back. You could dump it. As far as the functionality of it, of course, the rear section does everything you'd expect it to do. Dumpster even opens up. That looks pretty cool. Of course, these all have rubber tires too, so even all these trucks do have rubber tires, which is a super cool detail. Let's see here. Construction. I got two of these guys. So this is the Liebherr 764 bulldozer with the ripper attachment in the back. Of course, rubber tracks, not metal tracks. They're not that ridiculous, but I think still looks pretty good. This one is kind of interesting. There is quite a bit of plastic on this particular one, but I think it's because all the track area is metal. This huge blade is metal, and the ripper attachment in the back is metal as well. Not really sure why I got two of these. I kind of purposely got two of the front end loaders, but this just worked out. I think maybe I got one in a lot or something like that, but you can never have too many bulldozers. We're just gonna have to deal with this. It's gonna take up a lot of space. They do make other stuff besides construction vehicles as well. This is a air-filled water cannon. That is a licensed model. You can see the name of it on there on the windshield. It's German. Of course, it's German. Siku is a German brand. But this looks pretty cool. This doesn't really do all that much. It's more just for functionality, I guess. Just having a fire truck for airport, I guess. Just the little nozzle thing moves around. It's literally it. But gives you a couple of details in the back. Of course, it's all in the metric system, which we do not use here in the U.S. Eventually we probably will. This one's pretty cool. So this is a Mercedes cab. Couldn't tell you which model of Mercedes, but it's a Mercedes. Führer, whatever. It's fire truck. It's fire truck in German. This one looks super, super cool. It does have outriggers on it. Little seat there for the driver. The tool areas and the equipment areas don't open up, but the ladder does all the things you'd expect it to do. Does extend up. Looks pretty good. That one is pretty nice. Looks like that one is a Mercedes. Barely not see it. Maybe you're really good at just zooming in or something, but couldn't show it up on there. All right, full-on excavator, full on. This is the Litronic Liebherr 974. We are actually going to see this one again, amazingly, and I'll explain to you why. This one's pretty cool, though. It's pretty big. Of course, it's all metal. Not metal tracks. I think metal tracks are just way too expensive. I would much rather have all the functionality in the arm and stuff like that. There is some deets in the back. Just some simulation. Of course, they make a ton of trucks. I don't, unfortunately, have that particular truck, which would be nice, but unfortunately, I don't. All right, the last one that I have in my current collection is this. Now, I'm not sure if this is exactly the original combination. I think that there was a recolor on this particular set at some point in time. But this does have the flatbed with that same bulldozer that we've already seen, just in red, which looks fantastic. I think it looks way better in red. And then it has a Scania dump truck in the front. And of course, the dump truck part is metal. Has your bogie for your flatbed. Of course, the ramps go down. So there's the deets in the back. Of course, it's it's the right pictures, which looks pretty good. Shows you all the functionality, which everything you'd expect. The weird thing is they call this a compact excavator. It's 100%. That thing is more like a compact excavator than this is. So I'm not really sure what happened with that. Now, the reason that I bring up all of the Siku and all this other stuff is because you can now buy Siku in the US. You can buy them from Diecast Model Wholesale. And they have way more than just 187 scale. I just bought 187 scale. We're going to go over what I got. But if you go there and check it out, I will actually leave a link to that in the description below, so that you guys can go check that out should you want to get the Siku. Now, I will tell you one thing. They are not cheap. They are just expensive as they are outside of the country. So this is the first one that I got. This is a big time guy. This is the cable excavator. It's pretty big. Really, really big for the studio. But it comes in this nice box. Of course, the excavator scoop is metal. It does have like a spring action in it, so it does function. Of course, this is a Liebherr. So this is a licensed crane apparatus. It's got all your working winches and all that stuff on it. Looks fantastic. A little bit of details on the back. Just shows the crane itself, which looks cool. I don't believe they offer this crane in any other configuration in this type of scenario other than just as an excavator. But this one was purchased from Diecast Model Wholesale, so this is one that you can get. I do believe this one was, I think this was $34.99. I think the cheapest one we were going to find is about $30, so just keep that in mind. So I've been looking to buy this one online for a long time. I've been wanting this one for a really long time. So this is the Liebherr mobile crane. Probably one of the most ridiculous, cool things you've ever seen in your life. It's just ridiculously cool. I've been just looking for this forever. This was $39.99. I do remember specifically. Now you can get this online for $39.99, but then you have to get it shipped from usually China or from Europe, which takes a while, but you can get it for the same price. So we don't get it on a discount in the US. It's still just as expensive. So keep that in mind for sure. So we're going to stick that one there. All right, now I told you we were going to see that excavator again, and this is why. So this is the exact same excavator. It is in the same deco as well, which is kind of interesting. It's not even updated or anything. Same color scheme completely. But this is being pulled by, I think, a MAN TGS, which is just stupid cool. Just stupid cool. This is one of the most ridiculously cool Sikus ever. I absolutely love it. It's just so cool. I love trucks. I love construction equipment. This was $59.99. This is very expensive piece. But it's super cool. Now this one you can probably get a little bit cheaper if you buy it from China. But I've looked into that, and of course, I think if I remember correctly, they basically send it to you in a speed pack, so this thing would be completely crushed by the time it got to you. So if you don't really care about the packaging, I guess you can do that. We're just kind of there's so much stuff it can't even go on the screen. Oop, oop. All right. Now, if that big Liebherr crane was too much for you, I did get this guy. It's a much smaller one. Still a Scania. This one has a little bit different style of wheels on it, which look pretty good. Sorry about the glare. I've been looking at this one for a little bit too. This one you can typically find for sale from somebody in the U.S. But again, it's usually about $30. I think if I remember, this one was only $24.99 from Diecast Model Wholesale. So I think this was one of the cheapest ones. Obviously, it's one of the smallest ones. But it does have all the functionality. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. It weighs about probably about the same, about 3 or 4 car cultures. It's a lot of metal in there. Another one that was only $24.99 is this, the Volvo dumper, the articulated dump truck. This one looks pretty cool, like the big giant rubber tires on it. A40D is what it is. So I have pretty much a whole construction fleet. It does all your movements and stuff like that. It looks fantastic. I really think it looks cool. I really like the tires and stuff. That's like the coolest part of it. So that was also $24.99. Put that up there in the giant collection. They do make one thing that is not construction, not fire, not bulldozer, not none of that stuff, at least in the U.S., and that is this. This is the DHL road train. That is a Freightliner. I believe it's not a Cascadia. It's something else. It's a different Freightliner. But this is the road train. And yes, it is a road train with 2 box trailers and your bogie. This is ridiculous. This thing is super wide. Like really wide. It's wider than the angle of the camera. This one does, again, what you think it would do. Siku does not disappoint. Everything does exactly what it's supposed to do. Doors open, all that good stuff like that. Looks fantastic. Pretty big. It's enormous. Takes up just everything. Just the whole everything. And then I got one more. This is the last one that I got from Diecast Model Wholesale. This one was the most expensive one. I think this one was $64.99. But you have to admit, that is bonkers cool. That is a transport truck with a crane and a wrecking ball. So that is the Liebherr crane. Now, I do believe that this is the exact same casting as that big one we saw that was the excavator. I think they just changed the wrecking ball section. So I guess they are the same, but this one is in red, which looks fantastic. The low boy here does separate. It does separate from here, so you can unload it just like it should. Comes with a couple of signs and stuff like that. Again, MAN TGS truck, looking fantastic. Now, there is an additional set of this in Europe or other countries that offers a pilot car with it. It's a completely different set, but there's one that offers a pilot car, which is fantastic. There is the whole shebang on the back. There is your MAN, I think it's a TGS. I'm pretty sure it's TGS, but regardless, it's a European truck, and it's freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. There is the functionality on the back. There is the trailer that separates. Crane does all the stuff. It does all the things. So, looks absolutely fantastic. So, there you go. That is the haul currently. Now, there's 2 items of 1/87 scale that is on the website that you haven't seen. They're farm items. I will get those eventually, but this haul was pretty expensive. It was pretty expensive, so had to limit myself a little bit. So let me know what you guys think about those. Let me know what you think about Siku. I love Siku. And don't hesitate to check the website. Again, I'm not sponsored. I'm just saying you can buy Siku in the U.S. from a regular retailer as a normal deal. You're not importing anything. You're not doing anything crazy. Buying it direct from a retailer in the U.S. fantastic. Absolutely stoked. So we're going to roll out. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Love and kissed.